Welcome, Ashish. Thanks so much for coming. I have so much respect for Prosper, having known Ron in the past. He's come to a couple of our panels. I was wondering if you could tell me what you do at Prosper and what your goals are.
Yeah, sure. I'm Chief Credit Officer at Prosper. I've been there for 2 years now, and my responsibility as the Chief Credit Officer is to manage underwriting, pricing, fraud, verification, and data science teams at Prosper. Eventually, my end goal is to make sure we meet or exceed our investor return expectations. That's what I'm mostly focused on.
And again, if you want to just briefly cover the whole mission of Prosper, that would be great.
Yeah, our mission is to advance financial well-being, and the goal is to to drive financial inclusion by ensuring we lend to the borrowers who need credit, but at the same time they pay us back. So that is the goal of the overall lending function, and the mission is obviously to advance financial well-being of our borrowers.
And to top it off, you're very successful, which is great. Tell me, what do you see are the pain points as far as credit goes at the moment?
I think at this point you are in a intersection of a lot of things. You are very late in the credit cycle, and you can see the consumer debt is overall going up, and losses have started to tick up a little bit. At the same time, uh, there's a lot of demand for credit, and there's a lot of focus, and at the same time, both from the borrowers as well as investors to see how to kind of invest in these loans. So the biggest challenge for us is how to really continue to stay disciplined and focus in underwriting to ensure we meet or exceed our return expectations of investors. At the same time, find ways to grow our business. How to balance the two, the growth aspect as well as the ensuring we stay disciplined on the credit side, is the biggest challenge, and that's something we always work through by innovating on the underwriting side through alternate data or through sophisticated models such as machine learning models, or through just bringing new tools and technologies on the verification or fraud side of the things.
And I guess fraud at the moment is pretty high on the list of concerns, right? Just every day I seem to post on social media all these articles about all the companies that are being defrauded and held to ransom and things like that. So do you have a great concern with that at Prosper?
We are FinTech obviously, and we are a digital lending company. We're in business for 10 plus years. So through that process, we really have developed very sophisticated fraud detection ecosystem, if you will, such that our fraud losses, third party fraud losses, are almost negligible in terms of variation we do. So very good at fraud, what we do, and that's what the one of the key strengths we have developed, being in the business for more than 10 years.
Fabulous. And what do you see personally is the vision of the future for credit?
I think in the credit, I think the current paradigm is, well, someone applies for consumer credit. So I'm talking about direct to consumer credit here, and you go to the bureau, find some alternate data which meets regulatory requirements, and figure out a way to do a best job possible for underwriting, and then give loan to the borrowers that meet your underwriting model. The future will be different. I truly believe in future there will be a lot more transparency in terms of who is the person, what they're looking for, what they're trying to borrow money for, and also a lot more visibility into their spending behavior, in their asset information. So the world will become a lot more transparent in future. The regulatory paradigm will evolve along with it, and therefore the lending decisions will be uh, less uh, less driven by misinformation, but more driven by just transparency in information and giving credit to people who really deserve it.
So I guess more personalisation and focus on that, which makes it more human, or humanises the whole credit process, right? I remember many years ago when I got a divorce in Australia, I had 3 little children, and I went to the bank and tried to get a credit card, and they wouldn't give me one because I was working for myself and I had 3 dependents. And since then I was horrified and shocked, but it was my first insight into the fact that women are usually set in the background and that we aren't meant to be good credit risks. However, I know at Kiva, and I spoke to Jane Werwind when I first came here, who runs Dermalogica, and she had a women's micro loan payment thing, and she was saying that women are actually the best repayers of loans. And I was like, yeah, like it was shocking to me to have that experience. But I gather that that's sort of how it goes generally in the world, that certain people are discriminated against as far as loans.
I think that's the challenge because you have not the full information. You underwrite loans based on what you get data from bureau, and typically the fundamentals of lending are ability to pay and intent to pay, and ability to you measure through your income and intent to pay. Well, you try to verify identity to make sure you are the right person. And I think as we look forward in the future, hopefully some of those kind of misinformation will break away. I should be able to leverage your banking account history, your spending history to really see what kind of person you are, and obviously combine it with the traditional information such as your bureau data to see okay how you have paid your debt, and look at your earning potential not just through what you earn today but also through your education. Combining all these pieces of information, I should be able to underwrite you better,
Yeah.
and give you more access to credit than you have today.
To me, that's really humanising the whole credit process. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much for coming, and I think it's going to be a fabulous panel.
Thank you so much.